Welcome at part 2 of the Blender 2.8 for beginners. In this tutorial we are going to make the speakers, buttons, a name, some colors and a reflection. And just to remind you, I've got a display left down here that will show you which mouse and keyboard buttons I'm using. The first thing we are going to do is make a basic shape like we did for our screen. So let's go to the front view with numpad 1, select our TV, go into edit mode with tab. Now we are going to select 4 vertices. Now one vertex is actually called a vertex. I just want to let you know. So hold down shift, select this vertex, this one, and that one. Let's press E for extrude. Press escape to let go. Press S to scale it. And let's scale it inwards for just a bit. Something like this would be fine. Now straight away you can see that this line and that line is not straight. So let's make it straight. Let's just select this vertex, hold down shift and select this one. Press S for scale. Press Z to lock it for up and down, because now when I move this, it will go up and down. So if I move my mouse all the way here, you can see the line is straight. But we want to have a little more control about this, so we're just gonna press 0. So now when I click with the left mouse button, it's 100% 0. So select this one, hold down shift, select this one, S, Z, 0, left mouse button, and we have this shape done. So select this one with it for holding shift, press G, press Z, and just roughly move it something like this is nice. Hold down your mouse wheel to go into 3D mode so you can see better what I'm doing. Press E for extruding. Let's just place it something like this inwards. That's very nice. Hold down Alt. Select this outer line because we need to make like a bevel at the side. Just gonna go to the front view with numpad 1. It might look a little bit weird, but don't get fooled by this. Press Ctrl B. Move your mouse away a little bit like this, and you can straight away also see that this line is not kind of perfect. That has something to do with these lines are not aimed out. So press Alt, select this outer line, press G, press X. Now in order to move things smoothly instead of roughly or fast, you can just hold down Shift. So now you see it moves lesser fast. So let's just eyeball this out, something like this. And I need to make the top and the bottom a little bit larger because you see here I got not much left. So press S, press Z, hold down Shift and just a little bit. Press G, press Z, hold Shift and move it up. And now we kinda eyeballed this out, so it doesn't have to be a 1000% perfect because we're only going to use this for artwork and we're not gonna sell this, we're not gonna use this in games, we're not gonna use this in movies. So this is fine. So now we only have to make another one into here, which I mean, we zoom in, select this line while holding Alt, and then above here, like this line by holding Alt and Shift, so we have the whole show here. Then press E and S to extrude inwards, and now you see once again it's not completely straight, so we're gonna go into front view with numpad 1. We're just gonna press S and Z and now scale it like so. Just to let you guys get used to scaling and moving and all that kind of stuff. So now we're going to make the speakers, but I want the TV to be out of my way because, you know, it's distracting. So what we're going to do, we're going to press A to select the whole TV, then hold Alt and Shift because I want to keep this line down here. Now the point is, if it doesn't work right like this, you need to restart Blender because apparently there's a bug. Now let's try it again, Alt Shift and unselect this line. Now you see, now it works, and same for this one. And now we can hide the TV by pressing H. Now the whole TV is hidden away. If I want the TV to be back, I press Alt H. H is for hidden. Very good. So now we need to make a hole in here. We can do that by pressing A, press X and only delete the face. So if we would bring the TV back with Alt H, we can look inside the TV. I just turned the display back on because when you restart Blender you need to return it on. So in this case we are going to need to make something for the speakers, and we need to do this onto the grid, and I will show you later why we need to do that on the grid, because this down here is not onto the grid at all. So let's press Shift A, spawn in a plane, hold down Shift, unselect this vertex, press X and delete the other vertices. So now we have one left. Select this vertex, go to the side view with numpad 3, adjust the screen, press G, hold down Ctrl because we still want to stay onto the grid, and place it something like this, and zoom in and adjust the screen. Now we kinda need to place it onto this line, kinda. This is the only thing that's gonna be out of grid from the side view. So press G, press Y, and kinda like this. You don't have to 100% do this because we're going to show you that trick again in a second. The first thing we need to do is from this front view, which is onto the grid, move it, press G, hold Ctrl, and something like here would be fine. We're gonna adjust things later on. So press E, hold Ctrl, something like this, E, Ctrl, place it down here, E, Ctrl, place it down here. So now I'm really showing you that you don't always have to press Z, X or Y. As long as you just hold Ctrl, it will be fine. Sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't have to. So I'm going to select this vertex while holding Shift, press F to fill in the gap. So now this is from the front view in grid mode. Let's select the other two too. And because from the side it's not into grid, because we need to line this up with the black line, right? So let's press A to select all, press S to scale, and press Y, and then press 0 and then left click. And now I zoom in a lot of times, you can see it's perfectly in place, while from the front view this is still in grid. Let's select all of these, then go to the side view. Let's extrude this something like this would be fine. Then we need to make another loop cut, but before doing that we first want to press F to fill in this gap. Very good. Make a loop cut with Ctrl R, one click, two click to let it go. Then we're gonna turn on the X-ray, because let's click an empty field and drag it here to select all the vertices onto this bottom. Let's zoom in and let's extrude this until kinda is the half of this cube. You can just go one block over it, that's fine, because we need to press X and delete only the faces. So now if I turn X-ray off so you guys can see better what I'm doing here, we have a slight little gap in there. And this is something that the older TVs just had. There's a slightly gap you could see when you were facing like this. That's fine. Only thing that has to happen is select this one and that one from the side view. I'm gonna extrude it, Z, Ctrl, and now let's place it so it's one block like so. And now I'm going to show you why we needed to do this onto grid. Because we need to select all of this. I'm gonna turn on X-ray, select all of that, just turn it off so you guys can see it better. Go to the front view, copy this with Shift D, hold Ctrl and just place this underneath. Now before I touch anything else, we're gonna press Shift R to repeat our last step a couple of times. You can just hold it down. If it just go over it, you can press Ctrl Z to undo, and one more. It's fine. Now we need to remove a lot of double vertices and connect everything up. We can do that by pressing A and Alt M and merge by distance. Now we removed 72 vertices. Now if I would have done this off grid, they wouldn't connect, because if I open this menu, it will merge a lot of zeros, 1 millimeter from each other. Of course, you can increase this, but if you increase this, it will get a mess sometimes. So that's why it's important when you're working with very small scales that you sometimes need to really work onto the grid, or else you cannot merge this one and it's getting a mess. So now we just have to close in the gaps, and we're going to do that the easy way, since we are not going to use this all for gaming, movie theaters, whatever I want to say. So I'm just going to select this vertex, this one, and that one. Press F to fill in the gap, just like so. These ones are connected. Do the same at the bottom. Select this one, hold down Shift, select that one and this one. Press F to fill in the blank. Very good. Now just select this one, that one, and this one and that one, and just press F. Like I said, we're not going to use this for anything else than just an artwork, so this is fine. Now there might be on the end, when we render stuff, there might be a problem popping up, which I did not have with this down here, because it's just perfectly straight. But when I placed the TV back with Alt H, I did have a problem with this down here. Even though it's a perfectly square face, I still had like a edge in the middle, because apparently Blender, when it renders, it makes triangles of everything. Now I did ask people, what is this, why is this, how can I solve this? And there is actually an add-on that's already built into Blender, but I will come back with that onto the last part. But we can solve that problem if there is like a incline edge coming up here, which didn't pop up down here. So if it would pop up down here, we can still solve the problem, but I didn't have any problems. So this is done. I go out of edit mode with tab, and now we have our speaker thing down there. So now we're going to make some buttons. So I'm just going to hide this TV with H. I'm going to press Shift A and spawn in a circle. Now the circle has way too much vertices. I'm just going to change the value to 16. And by the way, if this menu doesn't automatically pop up, that means you just have to open it first. 16 is fine. We're not making low poly art, but we're also not making super realistic stuff. So from the front view with numpad 1, we're going to edit modes. It's already selected by default. Press E for extruding, hold Z and Control. And let's place it something like here. 4 blocks is fine. E for extrude, Z, Control, and 2 blocks is fine. Press S for scale, hold Control and put it in 2. Now let's hold down the mouse wheel and let's move our mouse, something like this. Press E, press S, place it down here. Press E, press S, but this time we're gonna hold Control and move it all the way to the middle until this thing starts to act like a compass. Then click, Alt M, merge by distance. And now we have a nice button. If we go out of edit mode, the orb is down here, so if it's too big we can just scale it. From the side view, I'm going to bring back the TV with Alt H. Now you don't see much, I'm just going to select it like so. From the side view, press R, press X, so we only rotate it like so. Then hold down Control, just like so. Press G, place it at the side of the TV like this. Go to the front view, scale it just a little bit. Just going to put it like this, is perfect. Press G, hold Control, and something like that. Now in order to aim this out perfectly, I'm first going to press Alt D to duplicate, and then hold Control and move it aside. Now before I actually copied with Shift D. The point is, when I copy a button with Shift D, it will be the same, but when I change the button, because for example it's way too big from the side view or not too big, then it doesn't change the other button. Which I mean, when I Alt D copy this thing, it will still be connected. If I go into edit mode with tab and I would press G while the middle point is selected. You can now see when I change one button, the other button will also be changed. So that's very handy when you want to have two of the same button and you only want to change things for one time. Let's go to the top view with numpad 7. Now we need to aim this out. Now the reason why I go to the top view is because from the front view we cannot really see too much, right? We're just gonna go to the top view, then I'm going to press Z and press wireframe, and now I can better see when I zoom in what's going on, because from the front view I like it better from the top view. That's just the way how I like to work. So in this case I find the button a little touchy too big. Now if I would change it while not being in edit mode, it won't change. So keep that in mind. It will only change in edit mode, but in edit mode when I select all and I would press S for scale, it goes off the grid again. So in the case of that I don't want to go off the grid, I'm just going to separately scale them down. So S, hold down Control one time, S, Control one time. So now I know they're still the same size and I don't have to rearrange stuff. So in this case I want to have the button on the same line like this. That's why I went from the top view, just like so, because from the front view you know it's harder to aim this out with this. Makes sense? And do the same with this one. G, X, just roughly move this down here. And now we have two buttons. Now you might find that there is not too much space between in, so what you could do two things. Or you make the button, scale it down and rearrange it. Or from the top view you can also say, let's press G and let's use this out the line here as point, like so. Just what you like the best to do. So now we have the buttons. I only would like to have two square buttons, and then you can also decide, do you want to have the square buttons down or want to have it up. In this case I want to move this down. I want to have the square buttons on top. So I'm just going to go to the side view, going to wireframe, and I'm going to aim them out with this down here. So press Z, I'm going to hold Control, and you know it's perfect, absolutely fantastic. So go out of wireframe with Z to solid mode. Now I've got enough space left for two square buttons. I'm going to select the TV, going to hide it with H. It's a lot today, I have to say. From the top view, yes, we're going to press Shift A, going to spawn in a plane, going to edit mode, press S for scale, press Y and then hold Control, and something like this would be nice. Go to the front view with numpad 1, press E for extrude, press Z if it wasn't already, hold Control, and 4 small blocks up, press E, Control, 2 blocks up, press S, hold Control and scale it inwards like so. And now we just have a basic shape button. I'm going out of edit mode, I'm going to go to the side view, I'm going to press R, X, Control, with offside. I'm going to press G, only hold Control. I'm going to roughly place it here. Then press S for scale, only. Make it something like that. Bring back the TV with Alt H. Very good, almost done. Only select the button, press G, press X. Roughly place it down there. And this time I just have to, adjust it by the look. I find the button a little bit too big, so I'm just going to scale it down something like that. And press G, press Z, roughly something like this would be fine. Very good. Now if you find this button a little bit too much, go into edit mode first, turn on X-ray, select those, press G, press Y, hold Control, and you could also say like this. Go out of edit mode. Perfect. Now from the top view, turn off X-ray, press Z, go into wireframe, and now I want to aim this middle out with the middle of the button. So G, X, roughly aim this out like so. Alt D, duplicate, press G, press X, place it roughly just a little bit, zooming in. GTX. Perfect. Amazing. Press Z, go into solid mode, and our TV has shape. Very well. And now we're going to make a name. Select the TV, press H to hide, press Shift A, and we're going to use text. In order to, edit the text, you have to press Tab and then backspace, and then I'm going to call this TV. I just need something, and then from the side view with numpad 3, going to adjust the screen. We are going to go to this tab with an A on it from ABC, and then we're going to open this tab down here, and then we're going to put this on 0.1, so it get a little bit, an edgy thing down here, and we're going to put this on, the one on the bottom, 1, 2, 3. This is perfect. So now we have some nice shapy letters here. From the side view, I'm going to rotate it with R, X, Control, place it like so. Move this up on the same line as we did with the buttons. Press Alt A to bring the TV back to the front view. Select the letters only. And I'm going to press S for scale. Roughly scale it for now. Now I find it's the best way to put the letters in the middle of the screen itself. Some people might like to have it in the middle of the whole TV. I didn't like it that. So I'm going to press G. I'm going to roughly place it down here. Zoom in. Just a little smaller. G, Z. Hold Shift for soft control. Like so, very good. Now I have to eyeball this out. It's kinda in the middle, I would say. Kinda. Maybe G a little bit that way. Something like this, and now we have our TV. And yes, the little bit of the letters go into the screen, but that is okay. We just want to have smoothness onto this side, and the back should be flat. So let's add some colors. In order to add colors to our TV, let's select our TV, then go to this tab with this ball called Materials, click on that, open the preview window because it's always nice to see what's happening. And in this case we're going to make the TV black, but if I would click on this base color and move this down, you cannot see what's happening. So in this case we just want to have a quick preview of what's happening. We can select Look Depth. It says it down below. Or what you can also do is press Z, which we did for wireframe. You also have Look Depth. So in this case, it's just a small preview of what's happening. You don't have realistic lighting and that kind of stuff. For the TV, I just used like a black, but not 100% black. And I also 100% crank it up the reflection. Now I did said before we're going to add reflection, but it's not like very rough reflection, which I mean if I put this down it's 100%. Some people will say this is not reflection at all, but you will see we will have some reflection onto it. So in this case I'm going to select the buttons. And I'm going to open this tab down here. We are still in Material tab. I'm going to select this material. It's always nice actually to recall this to color black. Very good. And straight away you could see that the other button is black too, because we cloned them with a connection, which is Alt D instead of Shift D. We did the same one with the buttons. Open this tab, black, and straight away you see that the button is also black. So now we're gonna do this name, and for this name I did something different than black, but I'm still going to select this black because I want to show you that you can also just take this whole setting stuff and copy this by just pressing on this button. Now it's copied, it's called black one. I'm gonna call it this Chrome, if I write it correctly in English. And I'm going to make this all the way white again. And I'm going to put the roughness all the way down and the metallic all the way up. So now we have a chrome look. I believe I didn't have the roughness all the way. I just had it something like this. Let's put it on 0.2, just to have, you know, a little bit of, how can you call this, a little bit of grainy stuff. Like, I don't really like this 100% on Chrome, since we don't use 100% on this too. So now I'm going to show you that in look depth mode you do have a little bit of reflection. We did see that with when I made this black stuff 100%. Like, this is 100%. This is something I don't see this kind of reflection at TV names. It's always a little bit off. Something like this. It's more of a plastic chromey stuff. So I find this the best one in this scene. So now we are going to add environmental light and a little bit of reflection to it. We are going to do that with an HDRI texture. Now we can download this from a site that is free, don't need any profile and no messing around. It's called HDRI Oven. It's actually this side down here. You will come straight onto this page. Now if you scroll down, you can see that this is the light and reflection you get if you have any reflection like we do. We have more like this. You get a nice red shiny onto this shadow side. That is what we want. That is what I've used. And I use a lot of red and black. So that's very nice. And you can download this one. The higher you download it, the better the resolution if you use a high reflection. We are not using a high reflection, so it will only cost MBs. So why would we do that if we can have less MBs and have the same result as this one? So go ahead and then click on this one and download that one and put it in a right map. And of course you can find a direct link in the description of this video. Now first we will have to choose a render engine. In order to see what we will render, you can or click on this one down here, or you can press Z and choose the last one we have in this list, and that is this one. Now we need to change the render engine because it's on Eevee and I used cycles. In order to do that, you will click on this TV down here and change Eevee to cycle. That is just what I'm going to explain you for now. And then we are going to go to the world tab. That is this meatball here with a stick through it. And then we're going to click on use nodes. Then we're going to add color. Going to click on this little circle down here and click on environment texture. Then you will have to go to the map where you got your HDRI texture. Select your texture, open image, and there you go. We got now our HDRI texture. Now in my end result of the render, you don't see it in the background. You can by the way see how blurry this is, but it's all about the light. And yes, of course you can see a little bit down here, but it's too small to, you know, see too much of it. What I did, I went to, I believe, this tab down here where we changed the Eevee for cycles, and then open film and then click on transparent. So now you only see this, what we will have. Now this is it actually for now. The next time we are going to make the joysticks, add the colors to the joysticks. I hope you understand what we will have done today. And if you have some questions or a request, then use the comment section down below. If you found this video handy, then like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.